Alright, welcome everybody, my name is Blake, or you can call me TheCampaigner, and today we are playing Town of Salem on this Talk Tuesday. I might post one Town Salem each Tuesday, call them Town Tuesdays, I don't know, something like that. And for today's talk, what I want to discuss is kind of relevant to this game actually. It's about perception, and I'll explain in just a moment about how it applies. But perception in general, so branching from how you see yourself, how others see you, and perception in events and other such things. So, yeah. But what I want to start off with is in how it relates to the game, just so because it's kind of symbolic in a way. Essentially, perception is socially it's attributed like this. We believe that how we see someone face value, literally, is how they are. So, if someone's of a certain ethnic group, we kind of attribute certain prejudices, stereotypes to that person because of what we see face value. And some people decide to denigrate, I believe is the word I'm looking for here, belittle, stuff like that, those individuals for those roles, for those ethnic groups, I guess. And in terms of perception, we don't want to be judgmental of other people just because of little things like that get in the way of us being humans or embracing our humanity. So just how I see it, I mean, perception is the greatest thing that has ever happened to humans, but it's also the thing that ruins us. So, I mean, yeah, perception though. So, I want to talk about environmentally speaking, perception. So, that goes without saying. There's obviously, there's your senses, which is the five senses: smell, touch, taste, sight, hearing. So 5. Those 5 essentially establish what we call experiences, what we justify as being our own understanding and interpretation of information. So by not having those things, we are we're kind of limiting. Okay, now back up. Rewind. If we have those things, we base information and knowledge based off those things. So if we hear something all the time, like if you always see the sun rise, your perception is every single day the sun's going to rise. So then it becomes an embedded memory, it becomes a pattern, it becomes something that you just accept. And eventually, in all things reality, in all things humanity based, we attribute everything to patterns, everything that we can, of course, to patterns or systems, codes, rules. And when you have those kinds of patterns that just like, oh, it's just natural, it happens every single day, every time the sun's going to come up, and then we don't really break away from that, and we'll just accept it for what it is. Like, okay, well, guess the sun's going to rise today. And we kind of perceive it we dismiss it to be something little, like, smaller than what it needs to be. So, yeah. And in Town Salem, I made some dumb plays in this match, but I'm El Doctor. I'm going to save that for everybody. So, perception, the senses, the kind of goes like that. We use the information to fill ourselves with information so that we can help other people. And when you don't have those kind of experiences, which is why, in all honesty, you should probably watch like 2 to 3 videos at most a day. And then, or at least like in a sitting. Don't just sit at your computer watching videos. You should go out, do something, learn something. If you are a content creator on YouTube, the best thing for yourself to do is go out and experience things, because when you go and sit down and create content, you're going to have all those influences from outside the outside world that you can invest through your own interpretation of what happened into the videos or like whatever you're making. So that's why I try not to play for too long of games. So I try and keep everything relatively close together. Like, I try and keep everything I try and keep all my video making very close to when I recorded it, to when I edited it, to when I uploaded it. I try to keep it within a week so that everything is really relevant to the situations around me in my life. So, but perception, if you can go out and you can experience things, then you interpret them. And that's the part I'm going to talk about in just a second. Then you can do whatever you can re-establish them in a unique way. Then it shows your own interpretation. Perception, conception, and interpretation. Those three things are so intertwined that it's ridiculous. Okay? So that's very important to realize, that those three things can be so essential. And yeah, but going back to what I just said a moment ago, which as of now I totally just blanked. So in the way that we interpret our own actions, we go out in the world and we make our average life choices. We go to class if you're in school, we go to work if you're working, do everything you need to do at those respective locations, and then it's like, okay, well, why am I doing this? Is something you should ask yourself. And then what am I doing it for? How am I doing it? Why am I doing it? What other questions could I ask? What's the and essentially, what am I getting out of it? So if you want to be really self-conscious, you would ask, how are others seeing me do it? But I mean, but the main point here is that you want to check if you are comfortable with yourself and what you're doing. If you're okay with that, good. If you're okay with people judging you, but you have a really good self, you really establish yourself. You know what you want to do. You know what you want to be. You know how you want to act, and everything that is in that pathway to finding that self-actualization, then good. I mean, but we always have to be aware of how others are viewing us, because it's so important. We hate it. We hate having to rely on others. We hate having to. I mean, it's nice when you can rely on someone, you can trust them to that extent that they're almost a part of you in a way, that you're like, if I need something, I can talk to that guy. If you guys need me, you can just message me. I got an issue. I gotta know, and then I'll be there. I'll help you out, stuff like that. So, if you can have that kind of persistence within yourself to find yourself in the world and find yourself in what you're doing, perception is just so easy. It just makes everything so much easier to have to deal with, because you're like, the main issue is always being concerned with how others view you. Socially, it's the worst thing for humans to do to another human being, to judge someone else without context, without completely knowing why they're doing it, how they're doing it, and for what. Like, what's their goal? So that bugs me, but it is what it is. It is how we live. It is how we exist, and it probably won't change. And I wish it could. I wish I could change it, but I'm gonna perceive people and their actions in a certain way just because naturally it's a defense mechanism that I have. That if I think that they're doing something bad, and this isn't a bad thing. This is not a bad thing. This is natural, and this is totally okay. Because, I mean, I guess it's hypocritical, because I'm like, don't judge a book by its cover, but then you have to judge a book if you want to associate yourself with it. Like, if you see someone that looks like they may be intoxicated, you probably don't want to get in the car with them. I mean, you have to make that kind of observation. That's more observation than perception. Perception is interpretation of an event, in a way. It's a focus. It's a set of glasses. It's a lens that you put on. Like, totally just go grab... Like, if you ever go to, like a Walgreens, CVS, or like a local retail store, like a Target, Walmart, something else that's more local, that it just sells everything. Go to the sunglass section. Put on one pair of sunglasses. Look at yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, who am I? Give yourself a name. I know, and I mean, people will stare at you. They will stare at you, but I've done this, and look at me. I'm perfectly alright. I'm perfectly okay. And I'm totally insane. You like, give yourself like a name, like what you would see yourself as. Like, yo, you got jet black sunglasses. Yo, my name is Jack. You take it off, get it something with kind of like the reflective. Yo, I'm a cop. I'm John Doe or something. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, that's the simplest way to explain how perception works. Basically, you're looking at yourself or you're looking at something else, and you put on a pair of glasses and like, okay, this is how I see it. If you're standing there with those glasses and you're John Doe and I'm Jack Nicholson, then we're going to see things differently, because if yours actually has a silver tint to it and mine's just straight black tint, obviously if we're both looking at like a banana or something, mine's probably going to be a darker color banana than yours. I'm going to be like, ew, that's rotten, toss it. And you're like, well, no, it's just your glasses. It makes it look like it's rotten. I mean, that's the kind of thing that happens all the time. And if we don't really establish ourselves in a way that we recognize that, and we aren't comfortable with where we are as like our own personal role, then we're kind of like, okay, how can we go out and differ between two different people, two different situations, or one situation and two different viewpoints? How can we make that distinction if we don't know enough about ourselves and we don't know enough about what's happening there? I don't know. To me, it's something it takes a very mature individual to do efficiently. It takes a special kind of individual, and I don't see a lot of people naturally just doing that. So that's why I want to bring this case to you guys. Just want to talk it out, point it out, and yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. I usually won't do this over talent sailing in the background. I'll probably actually like explain what's happening, like what I think is, like, I'll just make it more live commentary, or I'll do post commentary and I'll like explain what I was thinking at the time. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, this Talk Tuesday about perception. If you guys do enjoy, feel free to leave a like, a comment, whatever. If you have any questions for me that you want me to address, feel free, just let me know. I'll answer everything. And it would be awesome if you guys could share it with any friends that you think might enjoy the conversation. And please, go out and have this same conversation with someone else. Not necessarily, don't say what I said. Listen to what I said and put your own spin on it. Like, if you like some of the things I said, okay, listen to it. Maybe think, okay, well, what did he mean? What did Blake mean? And then make your own definition for it. And then ask your friends, ask people you know, hey, what do you think perception is? So, yeah, well, trust me, it'll help a lot. So, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video, whether it's one of the other videos or it's a Talk Tuesday. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you later.